that looks pretty good. A number of years ago, I moved my family out of the city to live out here in the country to start a homestead. And we grow a lot of our own food, but we're not able to grow everything it is that we eat. And for the items that we don't grow ourselves, my wife is usually the one that goes to the grocery store to buy those items. However, right now she's super pregnant. I mean, super pregnant. So I've been trying to help her out with a number of things, including some of the grocery shopping. And since we raise our own chickens here for eggs, I honestly had no idea what the current prices are for eggs until this recent visit to the grocery store. Usually our preferred choice to buy things that we don't grow is from local farmers. But sometimes, and for some items, the grocery store is definitely necessary. And I must admit, shopping isn't my favorite thing to do, but I am willing to help my wife and family when needed. So I gathered the various items, sometimes trying to determine which item, like the butter here, my wife would choose. And then after that, I came upon the eggs. Man, look at the prices of these eggs. This is ridiculous. The last time I saw the prices of eggs, they were like 89 cents, 99 cents, somewhere around $1. But man, it's like 5 and 6 times more what I saw last. This is crazy. Man, these eggs here, $5.49 and then $6.99. I don't know the difference between there. They're still the same commercial eggs. But the pasture-raised chicken eggs, which are the better eggs, $7.99. Not a big difference. So you can see that it's the commercial eggs that are really the ones that are higher in price, have gone up tremendously. Wow, this is crazy. So thankful that we raise our own chicken for eggs. Oh, and I also see that not only is the egg prices higher, definitely not as many on the shelves in here as I've seen in times past. Those prices are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous. There's some reports that are saying the prices of eggs are up 138% since last year. And that some areas like Hawaii, the price of a dozen eggs, commercial eggs, are somewhere around $9.75 a dozen. Wow. What are prices of eggs, commercial eggs, like in your area? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you, because those prices are just insane. Is it a scam? Maybe even probably. But Lisa Steele at Fresh Eggs Daily, she gives some valid reasons on why eggs are the prices that they are, and some of which I definitely agree with. Some of which include overinflation and price gouging, and also even higher gas prices making everything go up, including the price of eggs. Oh, you guys come to help me out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Thank you for coming to help me out.
You're welcome.
That's great. I got some help now. Now, I do want to say that even though gas prices may be contributing to some degree in the increase in egg prices, and I mean to some degree, because gas hasn't gone up that much to equate that kind of increase in the prices of eggs. Well, one narrative that is also being promoted right now as the reason why egg prices are what they are is many are blaming it on the avian bird flu, to the degree that some people are even afraid of wild birds coming near their chicken flocks. And I'm asking, is this reasonable? Is this sustainable? Or is this just another one of those things that to keep people in an ongoing state of fear? And when you look at the prices of eggs that are going up, they are commercial eggs, as I saw earlier. And those are commercial chickens, which are raised in environments that are contrary to the way that they were designed to live. And in those environments, they're unhealthy. And on top of that, they're also usually hybrid chickens that don't have the best and hardiest breed stocks that there are. And many of those chickens would not make it out in the wild at all. They would just be gone super fast. And if the reason why egg prices are what they are is because of birds getting sick, then that would also affect the prices of chicken meat, which hasn't happened yet, interestingly. Just something to think about, because those birds would be affected as well, and those birds, the genetics and immune systems on those are not good either. Not at all. So, if it really is, then you would expect at some point for the prices of chicken meat to soar too. And seeing those prices of eggs just make me really thankful that my family and I have done what we have done in starting a homestead and raising chickens. In fact, it actually makes me want to take it even more seriously. Thinking back years ago, one of the driving forces for us starting a homestead out here was chickens. I wanted to provide my family with healthier eggs, because there is a difference between commercial eggs and pastured raised eggs. And with our chickens, we strive to make sure that they live a healthy life, so that way they can provide us with a healthy product. For our chickens, instead of having hybrid chickens, we try to make sure that we have heritage breeds that are less hands-on and are more robust and able to function and graze and live kind of a little bit more on their own. We also strive to provide them with a healthier environment, rotationally graze them and let them eat grass and bugs and all those things out in the open air, things that they're not able to do in commercial operations. And here during the winter months when we can't get them out on fresh grass, what we do is make sure they at least have fresh bedding. So right now what we're doing is we're harvesting the fertilized compost that the chickens have made for us. So what we'll do is we'll set them up in an area that is all mulched up with nice bedding. And then over time, they're scratching around, eating bugs and various things in those areas, tilling, but also fertilizing, leaving their natural fertilizer that comes out the back end. But that just adds to create a nice fertilized compost for us that we'll come back through and harvest like we're doing today.
And this is great for the garden.
It sure is. And then after we're done harvesting the compost, the fertilized compost here, we're gonna add them some nice new bedding of mulch. But we also do that periodically just to keep their environment healthier for them to be healthy. Definitely got some exercise in with shoveling and moving all that compost and mulch around. But one thing that came to mind as we were working is something that would make this whole egg price thing a non-issue is if everyone was raising a backyard flock of chickens. Now, I must admit, I'm raising more chickens because we sell produce to various customers. I'm raising more than most people would, but everyone could raise a backyard chickens, especially if things like HOA would let them. Nobody should be banned from growing their own food. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Everybody should be able to do it. And chickens is like the easiest animal to raise, from my experience at least. And it's not hard to do so at all. You can have a really easy setup for you and your family for like 10, 15 chickens and just make it a really simple thing. And that way you could just feed them food scraps and things like that, and you could begin to have eggs. And with egg prices the way that they are and people having trouble affording eggs for their family, where are the programs promoting backyard chickens and actually teaching people how to raise their own backyard flock? Where are those? That would make so much sense. That, all right, we're having the shortage on eggs, we got to raise the price. Everybody, we encourage you to start raising your own so that way you can take care of your family. I don't see that. All right. So far I've mentioned as some of the reasons why, or contributing factors to why egg prices are the way that they are is, I mentioned possible scam all around, that's a possibility, but also higher gas prices, price gouging and overinflation. Oh yeah, and I also mentioned the avian bird sickness. But some other things that people have mentioned is some of the new regulations regarding raising chickens in cages. Some states are wanting to do away with it, which that's good. And they're saying that's hindering the processes of raising chickens and eggs. So I don't think that that's a major factor, but it could be a very, very, very small factor. Oh, and also some farmers are saying, like that Welsh farmer, that supermarkets are not wanting to pay farmers for their eggs.
Better get this one out there before the supermarkets put their story across and cancel everyone else. So when you go into a supermarket now, you might see that there is a bit of an egg shortage. So not many eggs on the shelf to buy, not free range, not organic, nothing. So you're struggling to find eggs. Supermarkets are going to tell you this is because of avian flu. Which, to be fair, there has been a lot of cases of avian flu. But you want to know the real reason why there's an egg shortage? It's because the supermarkets won't pay the farmers for the eggs. So the supermarkets have upped their price for you, the consumer, but they haven't filtered that price increase down to us, the farmers. So our cost of producing these eggs has skyrocketed. Feed, electric, the price of new birds, that's gone up. But our price of eggs has stayed the same. So we physically can't afford to produce these eggs. So currently there's been 8 million less free-range hens ordered for next year's flocks. So that's just under 8 million eggs every day that we're not going to be producing. So that's 8 million eggs less every single day that we don't produce. And we're already 3 million eggs short of being self-sufficient. So the UK have to import 3 million eggs every day to feed the nation, and now we're losing another 8 million birds because the supermarkets won't pay us. And they're going to blame the farmers. They'll be like, oh well, the farmers should just stock them and produce you great British food. But we can't afford to. If the supermarkets paid us a fair price for our eggs, then we would stock our sheds and there would be more sheds going up and the UK could be self-sufficient in great British eggs, but the supermarkets won't pay us. So if you can make any sense of that, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. But yeah, the current egg shortage isn't really due to avian flu. It's because the supermarkets are refusing to pay us a fair price for our produce.
And then as a result of that, farmers aren't able to produce as many eggs. So that's taking away from eggs being on the shelf. That could be a solid reason as a contributing factor, a major contributing factor, something to consider. And some are talking about right now protein being lessened or reduced in feed, and even for backyard flocks. So for those of you who are raising backyard chickens or homesteads or farms, I would definitely recommend making sure that you buy your feed from only a trusted source. I'm not a huge fan of going to these box stores to get your feed. I'd recommend doing your best, like I said, to buy from a reputable company. But if you, and even more, you can actually maybe start going to local farms, support your local farmers, which I like to do. A farmer not too far from me has a local meal where they actually put together their own feeds, and I'm able to know them and know and trust them and know what they're putting in the feed. And you can also make your own feed, so that's another option. Do your own blend, but just something to think about. Some other things to think about in this whole egg ordeal.
Tick, 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 tick.
And it's pretty interesting that today, as I'm talking about this stuff, that a fire just coincidentally happened at an egg farm in Connecticut, killing 100,000 egg-laying chickens. Just a coincidence, or not. And one last factor that may come into play with the increase in prices of eggs, and that is the demand. With coming out of the holiday season, people were buying eggs more for bacon and doing different things to entertain guests. But then you can also add to that fear purchasing, when people are like hearing about the increase in prices of eggs and lack of eggs on the shelves. They're like, oh, I need to go get my eggs. And then people are buying out of fear and actually buying more than they should or typically would. So those are some of the things that come into play. But then you also have people who are on more specialized diets. They're looking to get more protein. And for years, part of our diet has been to leaning on a higher side of getting more protein in our diet. And when eggs were cheaper, we used to be one night a week, we would get eggs, and that would be a way of us having a cheaper source of protein. But with the price of eggs, I know that's maybe not an option for some people, but with having farm eggs and raising eggs here on the farm, we still are able to do eggs for dinner one night a week.
And it's really nice to, you know, just go out and have eggs right there. And like, really, I haven't even looked at the price of eggs until recently and saw how high they were. But it's really nice to be able to have our own. And, you know, if you can't afford eggs right now, one thing you might want to kind of transition to is, you know, right now a pound of ground beef is actually cheaper than a dozen eggs. So you may have to like switch things out to up your protein intake. And for years, we've been some of those people with the special diets. You know, we found that having a higher protein diet helps us in many ways. And so one way that we used to actually save money was having a breakfast night once a week and using eggs as a high quality protein in our meals. And it's been nice having our own chickens that, you know, I don't even have to worry about the grocery store prices. That, you know, we just continue to produce our own eggs here and it hasn't affected our grocery budget.
But whether the prices of eggs go back down or stay the way they are, what can we do about these things? Well, first thing we can do, start supporting your local farmers more. Make sure that there are people in your area who are producing food that you're making sure to support them, so that way they can continue to do what they need to do and don't have to ship their product all over the place, nor does it make it to where we have to rely so much on these commercial farms to produce all of the eggs and meat and various things that we eat. And one more thing we can do is, if you're able to, raise your own flock of chickens. I believe everybody should have their own flock of backyard chickens. So that way you're able to produce your own sources of eggs. Despite whatever's going on with the prices of eggs in the grocery store, if more people were doing that, it wouldn't matter as much about the prices of eggs in the stores.